Hey there, welcome to Talking Texas Politics with Calvin. I am joined today with Adam Arendt. Adam is our Precinct 3 County Commissioner right here in Cooke County. So, Adam, why don't you introduce yourself to folks?
I'm Adam Arendt. I'm County Commissioner Precinct 3. I'm on my fifth year in office and learn something new every day. I can promise you that.
So, Adam, are you from from Cooke County?
Yes, I grew up in actually on the home place where I'm from in Precinct 3, out south of Lindsay, Texas.
Okay. So, what made you want to run for County Commissioner?
Well, just I worked for the county in the EMS side for about 13, 14 years, and of course got a little older. Back got to hurting a little more, so I was looking for something to help continue that service, and just decided to run for county commissioner, and had a good campaign, and we ended up winning, and on my second term now, and it's been very positive and enlightening, just seeing everything and how it happens and works. But you learn something new every day, uh, through legislature and all the stuff that happens in Austin, and trying to bring that back home to the people and let them know what's going on.
So you ran and you were elected, and then so you're on your second term. So you
Yes,
ran for
sir.
reelection and was reelected. What would you say was your greatest accomplishment in those 5 years?
Oh, I think on the road and bridge side is just getting together and getting the roads, getting a good crew together and getting the roads up in shape, a lot better shape than what we were, and developing a plan to address those, and keep that momentum going in the precinct. On the in the courthouse, and as far as the meetings and as everything happens there, the budget is the main thing that we really deal with. Is a lot of what we deal with, and that's going to start next Monday. So we're taking a deep dive into the budget and see where we can save some money for the citizens in the county, and still do, have our services that we have out there. Sheriff's department's one of our biggest numbers that we see, but also that's very important, I think, and I think people want that safety. EMS is our second largest, and trying to keep them in check, but also trying to keep ahead of the time, to keep up with the needs of the citizens.
Okay. And so Cook County has been growing. The whole DFW Metroplex has been growing. So we've had a lot of growth coming to, there's a lot of construction here in Cook County.
Yes, sir.
Um, what would you say would be the biggest issue associated with that growth?
Well, a lot of times people think that we can uh, dictate how things grow, and we really don't have a. When someone sells a parcel of land, we don't have, as a commissioner, you don't really have input of who buys that. I mean, we don't have. I mean, it's private property, and they sell it to an individual, and then a subdivision say comes in. Now we have subdivision regulations that we look at those on a monthly, yearly basis to see if we can improve those. We're fixing to start doing some more work on those pretty quick. Uh, just things that we're learning as we go through that process, and you have really good developers, and you have some that are new that are you kind of gotta watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not trying to say people are trying to do stuff bad, but it's, they're trying to make money too. They're making money to try to sell that. Sometimes that's you got to kind of be on top of that, and it's a job.
Yeah. So is that like is the modification to the subdivision ordinance, is that kind of in anticipation of growth, or
It is. Excuse me. It is. Legislation tells us a lot what we can and can't do. Lot sizes, uh, setbacks, that kind of stuff. We can't just make our own rules. It's got to go through. I mean, it's got to be legislature sets that parameter for us, and then we can use those parameters to build that subdivision regulation. Some people think we can just make them put concrete road. I mean, there's legislation that says you can and can't do stuff, and then we got to go by that, or we'll be in violation, and we don't want that. So it's very hard to kind of explain some of that stuff to some people. A new person comes in that's never done one, and you hand them the booklet, and
Mhm.
they're overwhelmed, and it's like, well, we don't get paid to. I mean, you really have to have a lawyer, or they need a lawyer, or somebody that knows what that book reads, also what they can and can't do. We try to help them. Our subdivision people try to help them, but I mean, and we're there to help. But it gets overwhelming when you got 20 of them coming in and trying to do something, and it's you got to show them, hey, here it's in the book. You can go by these guidelines, and sometimes that gets pretty difficult, but it's the nature of the beast. When I first come in, I think I had one subdivision. I've got about four going now. Jason over at Precinct Two's got probably 20 going. I mean, it's consuming. It's time consuming, but we stay in front of it, and it's tough.
Yeah. So, how many homes are we projected to have built in the next year, 2 years,
Well,
5
I
years?
know, just in one subdivision of Mud that Jason's got, there's 600 homes coming in that one, roughly. Well, that's a lot of rooftops.
Mhm.
Uh, I always say that we need more industry to kind of offset some of that. With those homes, I mean, it's. Some people say we need to stop that. Well, you can't stop that train. It's coming. Uh, but with that, it also increases our sheriff's department calls.
Mhm.
It increases our EMS. It increases our fire.
Sure.
And trying to budget and stay ahead of that, it's difficult because that money's not here. It's anticipating, so it's hard to say, hey, we're going to put a new substation in or a new ambulance in. I mean, that's millions of dollars to staff it and to have the ambulance in a place. So it's a balancing act, and it's like I say, we're going into budget next Monday, and I'm sure that's going to be brought up, that and we're going to have to look at that because our calls have increased. I was talking to the EMS director actually today, and we used to increase about 400 calls a year. This year they're anticipating it's going to be about 1,000 calls more than what we had last year.
Oh, wow.
So it's
Yeah.
just Interstate 35 with the construction has hit us very hard.
Mhm.
And talking to legislation about the bill that they just passed for the grant money for the ambulances, which we did receive the grant. We just signed for that. It was just $350,000, which will get us a new ambulance in the county, which is
Mhm.
coming from the state, which is thank God. I mean, it's I always say, I told Hagenboo the other day, I said, hey, it's y'all's highway. You got to help us. And so we did get the grant, and that will help us immensely to help staff and keep our equipment up in order.
So, now one hot topic that is not just in Cooke County, but it seems to be around the state, are these data centers.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's rumors that there's a proposed data center here somewhere in Cooke County.
I've heard that. I haven't seen anything on paperwork. Uh, if it is, I don't know. I haven't seen it. But, uh, you know, when the windmills come in and the solar farms have come in, we have no legislative backing to say, hey, no, you can't. Or, I mean, we don't regulate the water. That's a water board takes care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the thing that I see, that talking to other counties that have them coming in, and no one wants to hear the word abatement, or no one wants to hear a pilot, but those contracts are really, once you get that, I mean, you don't have to give them, you might give them 5% abatement or 10%, but you get a contract with them that at least you can get some teeth. I think that talking to, I believe it's Armstrong County, they were in our conference last fall that we were at, and they hired a lawyer to actually help them with that. I think that it would be in our interest as a county to have that person or a person that can help us with that and maybe slow that down. I don't want them. I can't stop them. If I could have stopped windmills, I would have done that. But it's the nature of the beast. I mean, and I always said, and I said when I was running, if someone owns property, private property, the last thing I want to do is have government tell me what I can do or what I can't do on my own land. And if we kind of look at that, it's very important that, so okay, we say a data center and you can't come in. Well, what's next? Well, you can't raise cows within 5 miles of this person. I mean, so you got to be very careful, or we do as individuals also, of what do we really want. I mean, I don't like data centers. Everybody's got a cell phone. That's it's on there. I mean, this podcast is probably going through a data center, but it's the nature of the beast as we grow. I don't know any other way. And then the people that are putting those in have billions of dollars to fight. I know Hood County put a moratorium against them. They had a lawsuit the next day of $100 million against them. Well, I know the citizens were like, we'll do it. $100 million in Cooke County, that's over 3 years of tax money that's coming in. There's no way we could fight that. I mean, would you want to give $1 million to help?
No, I think everybody, well, a lot of folks probably don't understand the intricacies in that, but you guys did come out with a resolution.
We did. We got with Johnson County, got some commissioners down there, Rick Bailey and Larry Woolley, and we made a phone call down to them and say, hey, what does y'all's resolution read? And that's the good part about we have what's called listserv, that we can talk to everybody in the state through an email. And, hey, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. Talk to somebody that's already done it. And that's what we did on that, and did that resolution to the governor and lieutenant governor. And, hey, we're not for this. We need help with this. You've got to give us some guidelines to slow it down. We got to conserve our water, and we got to have that help. We can't do it as a commissioner alone. I have people tell me, well, you need to get with the senator and the representative. Well, I can talk to them, but it sure helps when everybody has their contact, sends them an email, and say, hey, look, I'm not for this. And the more people that they see that or say that, they'll step in, because guess who pays or votes for them? It's the nature of the beast. And y'all do a great job with that as the conservatives. I mean, I talked to Hagan Boo. He was in town 2 weeks ago. At both deals that I seen him, I mentioned data centers. He goes, I got you the last time. I said, well, okay. But it takes all of us. I mean, it takes the whole village to be up in front of them and say, hey, we need that. And my goal is to have where everybody understands that. We are tied by statute and legislative law that, just like on the subdivisions, we can't deviate. We can't just slam a hammer and say, no, you're not. And that's for a reason. We're not up there to dictate. We're there to relay.
Sure.
So it gets, I don't say it gets frustrating. It just sometimes it gets to where, like, we just talked about this. So, yeah. And I get it. I do. I promise I get it. So.
Well, I think that maybe one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, particularly if they came to Texas from another state, is that counties have virtually no zoning other than like the Ray Roberts zoning.
Right.
So counties don't have any kind of zoning authority for the most part.
Yeah. Cities have a lot more legislation power with that, as far as fascias and different building styles, and this can be here. We have none of that to our disposal. We don't. It's just it's an open deal, and if it meets the parameters of what we can do, we have no say. We we have no power, which
Yeah.
don't,
It was designed that way.
it was
so,
designed that way for a reason,
Yeah.
and I get it.
Yeah.
I don't. You could have think about this. You could have a commissioner in one precinct that says, absolutely not doing none of that. Well, then that side dies or could die. Think about when the oil boom and all that come and everything was going, and now it's like we have to diversify now. There's more. We have more of this commerce. I see a lot of stuff on Gainesville Chatter. Why do we need another restaurant? Well, it's private enterprise. It's, the city didn't say, hey, I need McDonald's to put this here. They didn't. McDonald's come in and did that.
Yeah,
They come and did their study, and
it's a free market.
it's a free market. And if we get away from that, I don't know where we would be. It would be.
I have one other question, and it is kind of the same lines. There's been rumors
Mhm.
of a battery storage facility.
Yes, sir.
Is that
So we had one of these about 3 years ago out west of Munster come in, or wanted to come in off the windmill grid. And the one thing that we went, or when they come to us, was, if it catches on fire, how are you going to take care of it? Well, we're not. Well, hold on, it's yours. Well, we have fire departments. Well, I had the fire department there, and I said, can y'all handle that? Absolutely not. We do not have the capability to do that. So, with that being said, data centers, battery centers, solar, that could be in that contract that, hey, this is on y'all, not the taxing people
right?
that are paying for these services. Yeah, you might pay, but you're going to have to pay more if that does happen. So you can throw it out there, legally. I don't know, but we did, and they backed out.
So that's not coming in.
That one down there, west of Munster, is not. So the one that's over by Valley View, I'm not positive. I might have to get a water.
So,
Please.
so okay. So you said there's another one that's over by Valley View.
West of Valley View, there's a proposed site over there. I haven't seen any paperwork come through the court on that at all. They've not said anything to Jason or to the court. So some of that, some people know about that stuff before we do. And, just by watching who bought or who did this, thank you so much. So I know Jason hasn't been talked to about. Yeah, we've seen it on Facebook and we've seen that, but it has not come through our court.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you would like for the folks to know?
I just be vigilant and contact them senators and representatives, and ours is Senator Hagaboo and Representative Spiller. They have a staff. I get to know that staff and just have a good conversation with them. Let them know, we do a lot of that, but it helps with the community getting involved with that too.
Yep, we always encourage that same thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. I know you're very busy, so I really appreciate you.
Well, thank y'all for having us out, and I try to make these as often as I can. I haven't been in a while, but y'all did support me on the conservative side the last time, and I greatly appreciate that. I really feel that I am conservative. I look at every dollar we move around and spend, and it's just something that's happened over the last couple of years, and it's happened to everybody, is just inflation, and that's not anyone's fault. A lot of people blame the president did that. Well, I think it's our society does a lot of it. It just fuel prices, and that could be, I don't know where that, big corporations jack that up. I don't know. That has affected us in the county. When I first started, my fuel deal was about $75,000 at the precinct level. Well, it's 150 now is what we put in there, and we bumped that pretty close. So that's a 75,000 increase over 4 years. It's just, so that takes away from something else you were planning. Deaf fluid problems that we have now that we didn't have 10 years ago. I probably in our budget in Precinct 3, we probably spend 70 to 80,000 a year dealing with that. And it's they're late model trucks, but this sensor, that sensor, and then you have to have tech come out, and we didn't have that problem 15 years ago because there was none of that. I mean, you didn't have that problem. So that increases. Health insurance cost it's went up 10%, 9%. It's supposed to be 12.5% this year.
Wow.
Well, that's something that we try to keep our employees. I mean, our employees are paid. I mean, they're paid good. They're not making a fortune off the county. I mean, it's just, they're at a wage they can go south and get a lot better wage. And we have good employees, and we want to keep those employees to work for the county and for the citizens. And it's brutal when that 12%, that's 12.5%. So that on our health insurance it's about $1,300 a person now.
Oh wow.
When I started, it was about $980 every year. Well, you got to cut something somewhere else to make that, to keep that.
Sure.
We're looking at different plans now, and we have a great plan. It's just that it adds, and now, okay, we're going to change this. Well, then now that employee's going to go, golly, I was counting, and now it's costing them an extra $2,000 a year out of their pocket. Well, or 10, whatever it is. So that's kind of employee retention, trying to keep them plans solvent as we can and cheap as we can, but it's trying to keep employees too. And I think a lot of our businesses here see that too. I mean, they see where people that they can go south and make more, and I get it because of the growth, and people can do that. It's different here in small. I mean, we're small.
Yeah, and I think that's a challenge. So we appreciate the work that you're doing for sure.
Well, thank you.
So thanks again for
You
joining
bet.
us.
You bet.
Thanks for listening to us today. Thanks for listening to Talking Texas Politics with Calvin. God bless you, and God bless Texas.